Good evening, everyone. This is Mellissa Thomas with Florida National News, coming to you with the evening news rundown for your May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. Happy Cinco de Mayo for those who are celebrating it as best you can while you're inside, socially distancing. Continue to stay safe, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Of course, we'd like to bring you the COVID-19 numbers for the day. So according to the World Health Organization, we're looking at over 3.5 million confirmed cases globally, as well as 243,000 plus deaths. In the United States, we're looking at 1.15 million confirmed cases and approaching 62,000 confirmed deaths. In the state of Florida, according to the Department of Health here, we had over 37,400 confirmed cases, and we are at over 1,450 confirmed deaths in the state. Now, jumping over to world news, speaking of COVID-19, you may have heard something similar to this here in the US. Last week, there was a story about the possibility that COVID-19 may have been in the US much sooner than we expected. Originally, a lot of the stories started to careen down into the US around the month of February, but we started to hear some reports that there were some cases actually back in January. Now, the nation of France is reporting something very similar. According to doctors over there, they actually saw some cases back in December of 2019. So now it's causing the medical professionals over there to more closely investigate their cases from back then, to look back at those who were reported to have flu-like symptoms. So they're investigating the different cases to double check as to just how early COVID-19 struck the nation of France. And as more countries begin to do more reports, we'll likely see more things like this. We'll likely hear more follow-ups even here in the United States as more research advances through the various nations and here in the US as well. Now, jumping over to the United States, we've got some more investigative numbers with regards to projected deaths here with regards to COVID-19. Now, there was a study that was happening from the University of Washington that is now projecting the US deaths to be much higher than expected before. The Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation out of the University of Washington is now projecting 134,000 deaths, which is a much higher projection compared to the previous 72,000. The Institute director cites the cause as being a premature relaxation of social distancing measures. So the director is projecting like, hey, we might be relaxing these measures a little too soon, and there could be a spike in deaths again as a result of COVID-19. Now, these projections are a lot different from what Johns Hopkins is releasing along with the CDC. Of course, their projected deaths per day, according to the CDC and Johns Hopkins, they're looking at a projected 3,000 deaths per day leading up to June 1st. The Institute at the University of Washington is projecting 890 deaths per day. And the CDC was letting folks know, and Johns Hopkins, they're letting them know, we report our numbers to FEMA, which we are estimating the worst case scenario. So therefore, their numbers are a little bit higher where the projected deaths are concerned leading up to June. But just wanted to get you guys updated in terms of what the projected numbers are and continue to stress to you to please be careful. Even as restrictions are beginning to ease, wherever you may be, please continue to be careful, continue to practice social distancing, wash your hands, cover your face, whatever it takes, just stay safe as possible. Now, jumping into a bit of Florida news, speaking of delays with regards to COVID-19, the date for Florida trials has been pushed back even further to July. So Florida jury trials will now be suspended until July 2nd officially. The Florida Supreme Court Chief Justice, he made that order to extend it to July 2nd. Originally, the deadline was going to be May 29th, but he made the extension consequently. Non-jury proceedings will be held by phone or video conference, and then the circuit chief justices, they will use their discretion to determine whether their proceedings need to be via phone or video conference or some other form of technology. Now, jumping over to a little bit of business. As you've heard us, we've been gradually breaking down each state as they begin to reopen. So today we're going to take you to the state of California, where the governor over there, Gavin Newsom, is declaring that Friday will be the day that retail companies, businesses will begin to reopen with slight modifications. So for the state of California, those businesses on Friday, when they reopen, it will be for clothing stores, bookstores, toy stores, music stores, and florists. However, when they open, it will be more so for curbside pickup. So not like Florida here, where we have that 25% capacity indoors. It's very different. He's designated that it's a curbside pickup only sort of thing. He'll release more specific guidelines on Thursday, but for now, offices, dine-in restaurants, and shopping malls remain closed. They remain on lockdown. And he will allow counties to ease restrictions beyond what he's declaring, as long as they can prove that they will use proper sanitation practices, ensure adequate testing, and that they have security for their most vulnerable people. Now, jumping over to a bit of sports news. This should be very interesting for the fans that are fiending for baseball, something a little bit different. However, what's been going on is that officially ESPN will start to air Korean baseball. Yes, and actually they started to air Korean baseball as of this morning, Tuesday at 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, Korea is on a far more advanced, time zone than we are. So the games will air in the wee hours of the morning for those of us here in the United States. The games will air on ESPN2 at 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Tuesdays through Fridays, at 4 a.m. on Saturdays, and at 1 a.m. on Sunday mornings. The season opener was this morning, which is why it aired at 1 a.m. this morning. And then the recap will take place on ESPN SportsCenter. But ESPN2 is the channel where you'll be able to catch baseball, at least in the meantime, until Major League Baseball restarts here in the United States. So that's your bit of sports news there. And of course, today is Tuesday, so you guys know how we do on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We like to bring in our beloved Jamecia Stoudemire out of California, our beloved reporter out there. How's it going?
Hey. Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, Jamecia, and I'll turn it over to you for the 4 for 4.
Hey guys, this is Jamecia Stoudemire here from Los Angeles, California, bringing you the entertainment 4 for 4. So, number one, starting off today, we have some new music. Slime and B, which is AKA Young Thug and Chris Brown, have just dropped last night on SoundCloud their brand new collaboration album. This collaboration album works with some pretty hot producers that have been listed, as well as some dope artists from Gunna, Too Short, E40, and of course the infamous Future, who brought them together before it all happened. Since it's dropped on SoundCloud, this project has been streamed or viewed over 1.8 million since 9 a.m. So that is a lot of traction. And of course, it made it a great day being Chris Brown's birthday. So happy birthday, Chris Brown. And congratulations, guy, on that collaboration album that seems to be doing amazing. I can't wait to tune on into it. Number two, we have the state of Missouri is the first state in the U.S. to reopen live venues. So the governor, Mike Parson, officially stated this past Friday that Springfield, St. Louis, and Kansas City but all could reopen their live venues as of yesterday. However, which this actually makes them the first state, according to Billboard reports, to reopen live venues. And when they're doing this, you stated that, of course, they're going to still keep in force, 6 social distancing rules, 6 feet of spacing, masks, so forth. However, all the mayors from these cities stated that, unfortunately, they will not, due to their city ordinances that they've put in place. So they're not ready. And even though it may be officially by the governor, the mayors have, official control over their area. So it won't really be happening. And honestly, who is ready to go be around a bunch of people at a concert? I'm just saying. We're all going to be singing the words, spitting on each other. We're not ready for all that. So number 3, as we all know, yesterday was Star Wars Day. May the Force be with you. An official announcement came with that great day that Taika Waititi is going to be directing as well as co-writing the brand new next Star Wars movie, which I know that has all Star Wars fans up in arms, and that's really cool. He's going to be co-writing this project with Christy, Wilson Cranes. And so that's amazing, as well as they have some other projects that are going to be coming up and that are going to be on Disney Plus, as well as some other different platforms. So definitely Star Wars has some amazing things going on. Congratulations, fans. I know you guys cannot wait, and we'll be counting down the days till that new project drops. And our last project, number 4 for the day, is going to be Angelina Jolie actually went to Congress and asked them to increase SNAP benefits. SNAP stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistant Program, which is also known to a lot of people as EBT. Right now, with the pandemic taking place, what's happened is a lot of these kids, they got their food from schools. And number one, school's not being in place. Now that put a lot of that strain onto parents. Not only is it strain on parents who weren't, necessarily feeding their kids during those times as they were before, parents have lost their jobs. So Angelina Jolie personally, as being a philanthropist that she is, and, her power of being an award-winning, an Academy Award-winning actress, she went to Congress and told them that told them that please increase the SNAP benefits so that these children won't go hungry. She knows it's not going to, fix all of our problems, but it's definitely going to stop children from going to bed hungry at night. So we definitely hope that Congress is able to include that in their next pandemic stimulus package that they put together. And you guys, that is our entertainment 4 for 4 today. We hope that you guys are safe on this Cinco de Mayo, but I'm definitely take a shot for me. Mellissa, back over to you.
Thank you so much, Jamecia. Always a pleasure to see you. Appreciate you. All right, guys. As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in here at the Evening News Rundown. That does do it for us here. We like to keep it brief for you. We know your day is quite busy, and we want to make sure to return you to it. But before we do, be sure to follow us on Facebook. You can follow us at Florida National News. Make sure to hit the little like button. Like at Florida National News, at FNN News TV, or at FNN News Live. And be sure to subscribe on YouTube at Florida National News. We like to keep it simple for you guys to be able to find us, check us out, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. All right, guys, I will be back here at 5 p.m. tomorrow. And of course, tomorrow being Wednesday, our beloved Casey will be back here for the FNN Sports Take at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. So in the meantime, thank you guys as always so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day.
We wanted to move back home to be closer to his family. We decided to go with pods because things were stressful enough.
We weren't sure how long we were going to need storage for, so we needed something that was flexible, and then they can deliver the container to wherever we moved to.